A lot of people think that if they only have $50 or $100 to invest, it's not even worth starting. And if you're one of those people who thinks, what's the point? That's not going to make me rich. I need you to listen carefully to this, because the stock market is not for people who are already wealthy. It is how regular people build wealth. Even if you're starting with a small amount, the stock market has the power to multiply that money and give you options in life that you wouldn't have otherwise, whether that's retiring early, working less, or just having more financial security. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to invest when you're working with smaller amounts, including the specific things that you need to watch out for that are different when you're not investing thousands at a time. So if you're sitting on $50, $100, $200 a month and you're wondering if that's enough to start investing, keep watching because it is, and I'm going to show you how. So let's start with the question that's probably on your mind. Is $50 a month actually going to do anything? I'm going to show you the math because I think once you see the numbers, it will click. If your investments grow at an average of 10% per year, which is around what the stock market has historically returned, then what will happen is that after 10 years, you've put in $6,000. After 20 years, you've put in $12,000 out of your own pocket. But now your account is worth over $38,000. That is more than triple what you put in yourself. And after 30 years, you've put $18,000, but your account is worth over $113,000. Now, here's the thing about compound interest that most people don't realize. And if you don't know what compound interest is, it means that your money grows over the original that you've invested, but also on the money that you have earned previously. And that amount will keep growing more and will multiply more as time goes on. So what you need to know about compound interest is that the money that you invest early carries the heaviest load because compound interest needs time to work. And the earlier you invest, the more time that money has to grow and multiply. So that first $50 that you invest today, that's going to grow way more than $50 that you invest in 10 years from now. And that's why starting with a small amount is not just okay, it is actually a smart thing to do because you can always increase the amount later as your income grows. Maybe you can start with $50 a month now, and in a few years you can increase that to 100 or 200. But the money that you've invested early is already working for you, already growing, already multiplying. And even if $50 is all that you can invest for the rest of your life, think about what a difference $113,000 will make for someone who cannot miss more than $50 from their paycheck. That is life-changing money. And it could be the difference between retiring with some security or not at all. So yes, $50 a month is absolutely worth it. Okay, so before we talk about how to invest with small amounts, we need to talk about when you should actually start. Because not everyone should be investing right now, right away, and that's okay. Because if you have any high interest debt like credit card debt, you need to tackle that first. We're not talking about things like a mortgage, we're talking about high interest debt specifically. Because if you're paying 12% interest on the debt that you have and your investments are growing at 10%, then the math just doesn't work in your favor. So what you want to do is pay off high interest debt first, and the definition of high interest debt is different per person. For me, it's anything that's around 7% or more. When you've done that, then you can invest. Now, the second thing that you need to do before you invest is create an emergency fund. Now, I know a lot of people hear emergency fund and they think, okay, I need 6 months of expenses saved before I can even think about investing, and that's going to take me forever to do. And I understand that that feels overwhelming. My philosophy is that you don't need a fully built out emergency fund to start investing. You just need to have some sort of cushion, even if it's just $500 or $1,000 sitting in a savings account that you don't touch unless something truly urgent happens. And the reason why you need some type of cushion is quite simple. If you invest all of your money and then your car breaks down or your fridge breaks down or you have some unexpected expense, then you will be forced to sell your investments, and maybe that time is a bad time to take it out. Maybe the market just took a dip and you'll be forced to take out your money with a loss. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Whereas when you have an emergency fund, you have that cushion. If something happens, you don't need to take any money out of the stock market, and you allow your money to have time to recover from any potential dip. So if you don't have any emergency fund right now, I would focus on getting a small amount set aside that will make you feel more secure and make you feel like you have a cushion if anything happens, and then you can continue building on it at the same time as you're already investing. And once your emergency fund hits a level where you feel comfortable completely, then you can shift that full $100 into investing. And the reason why I recommend this as opposed to build your emergency fund first is because we want to get you into the habit of setting money aside for your future, but also to not put yourself in a position where you're panicking if something unexpected happens. All right, so now let's talk about what to invest in when you're working with smaller amounts. And this is where a lot of people get confused because they think, okay, I only have $50 or $100. What stocks can I even afford? And the answer is don't buy individual stocks. Instead, buy ETFs. So with an ETF, instead of buying one company and hoping it does well, you're buying a little piece of 100 or even thousands of companies all at once. And the reason why this works so well for small investors is because ETFs are super low cost and accessible. What I mean by that is, first, they are cheap to own. So most ETFs, they have a management fee of less than 0.5% a year, and this can go as low as 0.03%. So let's say that you invest $1,000 in a year, then you're maybe paying $1 to $5 in fees over the entire year, and that's basically nothing. And secondly, ETFs are very cheap to buy. And I don't just mean the fees, but I mean the actual price of the ETF itself. So let me show you what I mean. If you would want to build a diversified portfolio by buying individual stocks, then you would need to buy shares in maybe 20 or 30 different companies. So let's say you would want to buy a few companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Coca-Cola, and a bunch of others. Apple is around $230 per share as of me taking this video. Microsoft is around $440, Amazon is around $220, and Google is $180. So just to buy one share of each of those four companies, you would need over $1,000 already. And that's just 4 companies. You need way more to actually be diversified enough. Now, if we compare that to a ETF, which again, it's a basket and it will contain all of these companies inside already. And to give you an example of an ETF, we could look at VWRL, which is a global ETF that holds almost 4,000 companies from all around the world. One share of VWRL costs around $110 per share. So for $110, you own a piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and thousands of other companies all at once. That's the power of ETFs. They let you invest in the entire market without needing thousands of dollars to do it. You can do it with 100. There's ETFs that only cost $10 a share even. Now, a little side note that I want to make here, but this is a very important side note if you ask me, is that it is super smart to automate your investments. Because if you don't automate it, you will probably forget to do it, or you will tell yourself, I will invest whatever I have left at the end of the month. And then the end of the month comes and there's nothing left. So instead, what I want you to do is pick a monthly amount that you're comfortable investing, even if it's small, and then automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your bank account to your investment account as soon as your salary comes in, because we want you to pay yourself first. We want you to put that money aside for your future. And also psychologically, it's actually way easier to commit to something small and consistent than to wait and see what's left over in your bank at the end of the month, because if the money is in your account, you will most likely spend it. And if it's already gone, you won't even miss it. Now, you might pick an ETF that costs a little bit more per share than what you want to spend per month. So let's say that you do decide to invest in something like VWRL. It costs $100 per month, but you only want to invest $50 a month. That's fine. You can choose to just invest every other month once you've collected enough for that full share. But do keep that automated transfer going at all times so that every month the money is still being set aside. So it's taken out of your bank account and it's put into your investment account. And then after 2 or 3 months, when you have enough for the share that you want, you can go into your investment account and then actually buy the share. Some brokers even offer automated investments as well. So what I was talking about is just to automate the money that goes out of your bank account into your investment account. But some brokers actually allow you to also do the buying for you automatically. So you could tell them, I want to invest $50 every month into this ETF, and it will do the purchase and everything for you, and you don't even have to log in to look at it. And that also means that you're probably buying fractional shares. So if the ETF that you want to buy is $100 per share and you want to only invest 50, then some platforms will allow you to buy half a share. So both of these options are really good to have. Look out for a broker that does allow you some type of automation. But for me, the most important thing is that the putting money aside part is automated. If you could do the automated transfers and the fractional shares, that's just a plus to have. But getting money out of your checking account and into your investment account, that is the key to success. Now, there's one thing you need to be really careful about when you're investing small amounts, and that is fees, because when you're investing $50 or $100 at a time, fees can really eat into your returns way more than they would if you were investing thousands. Let's say your platform charges $1 per transaction, so per order that you are placing. If you're investing $1,000, then the $1 fee is only 0.1% of your investments, and that's not really a big deal. But if you're investing $50, then same $1 fee is now 2% of your investment. And 2% might not sound like much, but the problem is that that money is also compounding. Because if you're losing 2% to fees every time that you invest, then that's 2% that is not growing for you over the next 10 to 30 years. So let me put it this way. If you would invest $50 a month for 30 years and you're paying 2% in transaction fees every time, then you could end up losing thousands over the long term just to fees. That is money that should be working for you and not going to the platform. So when you're investing small amounts, you need to pick a platform that has a low or no transaction fees. Some platforms do offer commission-free investing, which means that you don't pay anything or just a really small fee to buy an ETF. That is what you want. But, and this is super important, I need you to look out for this, because some platforms advertise with commission-free investing and then they sneakily charge you money elsewhere. They might not charge you to buy, but then they will hit you with currency conversion fees, withdrawal fees, or spreads that eat into your returns in other ways. So don't just look at whether it says commission-free, look at the full fee structure. Now, if you're on a platform that does charge transaction fees, it might be a good idea to not invest every month, but instead invest every 2 or 3 months so that you're buying larger amounts less frequently. Because $1 over $300 is a much smaller percentage than $1 over $100. You're paying the same fee, but it's eating into less of your investment. Also, please avoid platforms that charge monthly or annual account fees just for having your account open, because those can quietly drain your returns over time and are completely unnecessary. And the last thing that I want to say about fees, now that we're talking about it, is to also always check the management fee of the ETFs that you're buying. And this applies whether you're investing small amounts or large amounts, because management fees are what you're paying annually to own the ETF, and they shouldn't typically be higher than 0.3%. Except for more specialized ETFs that focus on super specific categories or sectors, those might be a little bit more expensive in terms of management fees, and that is more normal. But most broad index ETFs, which are these general ETFs that are investing in a lot of sectors at once, such as VWRL, those shouldn't be higher than 0.3%, because most of them aren't, which means that you will have much cheaper alternatives than the one that you're looking at if yours is more expensive than 0.3%. All right, that was a lot of information. So let's wrap this up with a simple action plan so that you know exactly what to do next. So your first step will be to stabilize. Make sure that you have at least a small emergency fund, even if it's just $500 or $1,000, and pay off any high interest debt first before you start investing. You can build your emergency fund while you start investing, but do make sure that you have a plan on how to do that and with how much every month. Then the second step is to automate. So find a low fee platform that offers cheap ETFs, low transaction fees, and allows you to set up a automated bank transfer and complete automated investments. And the third step is to increase over time. So as your income grows, try to increase the amount that you're investing. It would be amazing if you could start with $50 a month, but a year from now do $100 a month, 2 years from now maybe $200. You don't need thousands to start, you just need to start with whatever you have and stay consistent. If you want help with a full framework for investing in a simple passive way, including how to choose the right ETFs and set everything up step by step, then this video will walk you through it. And if this was helpful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because I'm going to keep breaking down investing in a way that actually makes sense.